Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This is Tori, and I am joined this evening by my friend and fellow indie author, Zammar Ahmer, and I am so excited about this. This is such an overdue chat. You guys, this was supposed to happen in October, I think, right? October?
Yeah, it was a while back, and then
Yeah,
things came
and
up.
it was just one thing after another, and we're finally here, and I'm so glad. Zammar, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Before I forget, there is a link down in the description box to Zammar's website where you can check out his books, The Book of Astea. And yeah, they're beautiful. Oh my goodness, you guys, the cover art is absolutely stunning. And we're going to get into a little bit of what's on the inside of the books in a few minutes. But Zammar, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much. Like it's I was mentioning this before. I've seen so many Motley Crew chats. I've been part of a few chat rooms, but not enough of them. But it feels super cool and kind of interesting to be on this side of the screen.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's always funny now. I'm so used to hosting that it's weird being on someone else's channel and not hosting and reminding myself that I don't need to like jump in and say things.
Yeah, I'm gonna take notes there, and then someday I'll have you on my channel, and then
I love it. Anytime.
Okay, we could swap places.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, it is kind of nice, like getting to see the backstage of everything and seeing how because everybody does it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So everybody has different programs and different ways of like taking notes for the chat. And I've told you before we went live that this is a pretty chill chat over here.
Yeah. I see Chris Navo is there.
Yeah,
awesome.
Chris Navo.
Bookish. Oh man, these are familiar names.
Yep, we got our Discord peeps in the chat. Hey Leah, we love a comfy sweater. I'm also in a comfy sweater this evening because it's cold here. I don't know how cold it is up in Toronto, but
yeah, it's bad. But you're in are you in Minnesota?
Yeah, yep, southeast Minnesota. So it's what is it right now? It's actually pretty warm. It's 9 degrees Fahrenheit here right now, which is warmer than it's been for like the last 2 weeks. So
yeah, we do Celsius, so I actually can't translate that in my head. So we're minus 12 Celsius.
9 degrees Fahrenheit. I should just look this up before. It's negative 12 right now.
Yeah. Oh, same for us right now.
Yeah. So we're freezing twins here in the tundra. Okay, so I haven't read book 2 yet, but book 2 looks very wintry on the cover. So did you channel some of that like tundra experience into your book?
Yeah, I think this probably was written in the winter. I'm pretty sure it was.
Makes sense.
Like that's just the way it goes.
Yep, you've got a good like summer cover, winter cover. It's a good blend.
Yeah, I think book 1 is more of a fall cover.
Okay,
that's what we were going for, but
yeah.
There's fire on it, so it's fine.
Fire, lots of green. There's a giant. I don't know if let's hold on, wrong side.
Yeah.
If you guys can see this, but look at that creature in there. It's like, and I love because you held up your novella cover, which is the one I don't have a physical copy of. There's a dinosaur, you guys. There's a literal dinosaur. There's a saber-toothed tiger.
The dinosaur has trees on its back too.
I love it so much. Are you a video gamer?
I used to be, not so much recently, but
did you ever play Shadow of the Colossus?
Ooh, no, but I did like hear about it and kind of have a gist of what was happening there. Yeah.
Huge creatures with like trees and rocks and things growing out of them. Shadow of Colossus is my favorite video game ever. So
is it really? Okay.
I love it's such a good game. So if you get bored, in the near future, which I doubt will happen.
Someday I'll catch up. I have like a long list of video games. I'm like, someday I'm gonna catch up on all of these,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the story for video games, for our TBRs, for like someday we'll have read all the books, right?
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. Casey's also in her comfy sweater, double layer blanket, and 2 pairs of. That's fair.
Doubling up the socks. Damn.
Yeah. Hey, cozy socks are the best.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Book Dragon, hello.
Hello.
I said hi to Chris. Not that I can't say hi to Chris twice, but hi, Chris. Don's here. Yes, shout out to artist Andrew Molesky because amazing talent.
Yeah, really damn good.
It's really, really good.
And it's great to work with too, for what that's
Oh
worth.
yeah, I haven't had the chance to work with him, but I know a couple authors that have covers by him, and yeah.
I feel like Andrew's kind of interesting because it's like I don't know how it usually is with other artists, but with Andrew it's like I send him like the worst sketch of all time. And it's like just this horrible thing.
Yeah.
Right. And he like asks me a couple of questions and then he just like is silent for like a month and then like returns with like, how's this? And like my mind is completely blown. I'm like, how did you get that?
How?
Yeah, exactly.
Artists are literal magic. I don't understand
100%.
how it works. I don't know how they can do that. I'm like, even watching them, having watched artists doing what they do in real time doesn't make it less magical, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. I know, like with Cold Silver, Helena sent me basically like a composition sketch. So the background was completely black and she had colored, like a blue outline for Hunter and like a red outline for Rip and everything.
Yeah.
And it was one of those trust the process moments where I was like, yeah, yeah, that looks good. And then, next I get this crazy, and it's just, I'm never less amazed every time that they can do that.
That's amazing. Cover. Speaking of amazing indie authors, I say PL
I was
in the chat.
Just gonna go back to that. Hello, PL. Thank you for joining us.
God, I'm such a big fan of his work, and like I'm always mooning over it, but I don't want to because PL is too nice to everyone. So I'm like, at some point, someone needs to teach this guy a lesson, so he starts like being less nice to everyone. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people are like, he can't really be that nice though, and you're like, yeah, he's absolutely
exactly.
He's one of the nicest people I have ever met. Shout out, we love you, PL.
Love you too, buddy.
Yes, see, that was the thing when I first saw your book one cover. I didn't notice the saber tooth at first. Until I took a deeper look and I was like, oh my gosh, there's like a creature coming out of the forest here. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So did you have like a really clear vision of the artwork before you went into that conversation, or was that kind of collaborative?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I think for book one, this was like very much, I wrote this scene and I was like, oh, yeah, that's the cover art.
That's
scene.
the cover. Yeah,
like that's where it's gonna be. And then we can talk about process later.
Yeah.
But like I am the ultimate pantser and I have no idea what I'm doing. Right. So I just write like this enormous story.
Yeah.
And then I go back and I'm like, it's kind of long, especially for a debut. And then I'm like, okay, maybe. Oh, I see. Actually, I wrote basically duology. Now I like look at it twice. I'm like,
so that was originally one book.
It was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like it would have been, I guess, that thick, really.
Wow. Yep.
But then like I'm like, oh, actually, I wrote a duology, and then I had to find new cover art for book two, and then this was a bit trickier because like I had to like try and figure out like what is the right scene.
What's the scene? Yeah.
Like that's. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So like I went into it with like a composition sketch, which I sent Andrew's way, and I'm like, please make this better. Exactly. Yeah.
That's the hardest part because I don't know if you're like this, but when you write a book that you've seen so visually in your mind while writing it, it's so hard to pick scenes. You want to just make art for everything. It's really hard to keep it to okay, what's the one scene that's going to represent this?
That's me right now, 100%. I've gone and done the exact same thing where I pantsed out like a giant book, right? And it's like
was it like 330,000 words or something crazy like that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, look, here's the thing. People write books, right? I don't know how to write a book. I only know how to write a story. So I'm like, I'm just gonna write the story, and like a book might come out of it. Maybe it'll be 2 books. I have no idea. I'm just gonna write the damn story because like I don't know how else to do it. So I wrote the story, and now I'm like, oh shit,
it's a really big one.
Exactly. So now I'm sitting here being like, oh god, I don't know what to do for art on this one. So
I mean, this is where we really have to give a shout out in the indie community to Ryan Cahill for like making all of our books look way more accessible
100%.
because he's writing
Exactly.
these like
He's a
1200
trailblazer.
page pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, 330,000 words. I'm trying to think what that would, that's like a 900 page book ish, right? 900
Yeah,
pages.
I think it's around there.
Wow.
I'm hoping in editing to cut down like a lot of that.
Sure.
Yeah. So if I can, goal is get it to like 280,000.
Sure.
Hopefully that'll be good. But...
Smaller, small fantasy.
Yeah. I mean,
So how easy is that editing process for you? Like, do you is it easier than drafting? Is it harder than drafting? Do you have a hard time picking out like what parts to take out?
Yeah, I find them very different. Drafting is maybe my favorite thing ever because it's like when you're writing a story, you're kind of just really living it, immersed in it. And like like I said, I pants like crazy, right? Like I don't know. That's how I enjoy writing, I guess.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but then the
Totally
other
fair.
side of that is like if you're a hardcore pantser, as you know, then when it gets to editing, that's when you have to like now pull it all together, right? So then like I pants like crazy. I've got my giant manuscript, and then my next step is probably the worst idea that anyone's ever done. Is I have my manuscript on one screen, and on my other screen, I'm rewriting every single sentence. So I go through it sentence by sentence, and I rewrite the whole thing. And it's like, it's a good way to strengthen your fingers, if anything else.
Yeah. Like, I wrote this book twice.
Yeah, like literally. And that's like my second draft, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, because like otherwise it's too hard for me to like really to like stare at what's there. Because when I'm looking at what's there, I'm like, it seems fine. But then if I'm rewriting it, I'm like, no, actually that's bad. Why is that there? Right. And then you kind of redo it like that. But yeah, I don't know. Editing is tough. I find editing very tough.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's hard to like, and it's so much fun to have a fellow pantser on the chat, you guys, because like, so I have so many friends who are brilliant planners. Like, so I don't know how they do it. They're so good at figuring out, here's my outline, here's where I'm going. And I don't know for you if it's like this. I mean, I'm not like 100% pantser, where I do have, and I think I saw in a different interview you were talking about how you have those visual moments in your head that like, I'm trying to get to these big moments, and now how do I string all that together? How do I get there? So we do have like a guideline of sorts. But yeah, I don't know, like how far to the pantser side of the spectrum would you say? Like how clear are those, guideposts for you?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because it's like when I wrote this series, it felt like those guideposts were very clear, right? It was like there are particular scenes, and the entire story kind of hinges around those scenes, and I can like build everything out from that. I don't know anything about the world. I build the world to make those scenes work, right? Like it's kind of silly, but like that's just how I approach it. Then my newest book, I kind of went into it with the same idea, and I had these scenes. But then all of a sudden, when I got to those scenes, I was like, actually, that's not the important scene. Like I've written this story, and like now I realize this story is not what I thought it was going to be about. Right. And suddenly there's like a new set of scenes that slowly comes one by one. So
well, I think there's a level of adaptability in pantsing that is kind of fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you can just shift a little bit and go a different direction, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like, if you're writing, right, the fun is in daydreaming. So if you're planning will take, I don't know, maybe some people it takes like a month to plan a book, right? So you have a month of daydreaming, and then after that it's just work to get the book done. If you're pantsing, you get to daydream for like a year while you're writing a book. So that's why it's fun. Right?
Yeah, well, because for me, I kind of stop if I get stuck. I pull myself away from the manuscript for a little bit, and I go back to that kind of daydreaming phase where I start imagining different ways that this scenario could go, and like, where are we going from here, trying to get to that guidepost. But like, there's a whole bunch of different options of where we can go to get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's, and I heard once on another channel, not in our group of booktubers, but like I'm trying to remember what video it was. Anyways, out in the booktube sphere somewhere, where they were talking about how as a when you're pantsing a novel, this person didn't think it was possible to do any legitimate kind of foreshadowing or seeding for later scenes.
Hmm.
And I was like, I disagree with that a lot. And I would love, as a fellow pantser, to get your take on how do you foreshadow and seed things for the future into, the first book or the first few chapters when you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah. So I mean, a couple of thoughts on that. So like, the first thing is like I said, if you kind of have those guideposts and like you kind of know the direction you're going in, then you can foreshadow something in while you're
Right.
working on it, right?
Yep.
And then chances are when you come back and you're editing and you're like, okay, I almost had that right, but I'm gonna just change it a little bit to like make it work better
Yep.
with the complete thing, right? So at the end of the day, it's like it's honestly the same thing, whether you're plotting or
Right.
pantsing. It's just how you get to the end.
Yeah.
With your pantsing, you wing your way there, and then you come back and you edit to like stitch it all together, right? And then
Right.
with your plotting, that like maybe you've kind of got the whole thing figured out from the start. But I think the problem is when you're writing a long series, like something in long complex series, like A Song of Ice and Fire or something, right? Like I don't think my writing style, like I could pull that off very well, because like I
Yeah.
think I would have to like completely change the way I write to make that work. Because definitely if you've already put out this book and you're trying to foreshadow stuff that you haven't thought of yet, it can get
Yeah.
very risky, right?
Yes.
Or like if something is like 7,000 pages away, but you're going to foreshadow it now, then you better have like a good idea of what that thing is going to look like, right? But
Right.
yeah, so like this is why like my approach, like I told you, I just write the story, because like I don't know how to write a book. I'm just gonna write the story, and then that way I have the whole thing down. I've told myself the story. I can go back, and like now when I go to the beginning, I'm like, oh, I had no idea what the story was at this point, so I'm just gonna change it to like make it work with what I know is the story now.
Yeah. So when you were writing the duology, did you know the ending as you were writing, or was that something that you kind of came to organically as you were working through the draft?
Kind of half and half. I knew like parts of the ending. I had an idea of like, I guess, one main plot line. I wasn't sure how like the second plot line would go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious about this, because I'm starting to kind of get the idea that, as pantsers, we all have different focal points, I feel like. So for a pantser, it'll be the concept of the story, and where we're going with the concept, or where we're going with the plot, or where we're going with the characters. And one of those is kind of a North Star, so to speak. Mine is definitely the characters, where I sit and figure out, okay, here's where my characters are going to be. How does the plot catch up? Kind of thing. Do you feel like you kind of balance those, or do you have a focal point among those different elements?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely the characters for me as well. Like I just try to really embody the character when I'm writing, I guess.
Yeah.
And like that to me is the immersive experience of writing. It's like putting yourself in a different person's shoes, a made up person's shoes in a made up world.
Yeah.
Like, what's human? Maybe they're not human, and then what is this kind of non-human thing?
And in your case, there's a lot of not human going on.
Yeah. So, stuff like that. Like I just find, like that's the process I enjoy, and then from there, it's like those touchstone scenes that we were talking about. Those are like big character moments, right? And like, okay, what is the plot that makes those big character moments happen?
Makes sense.
It all just kind of comes together around that for me as well. It's like you said, though. I mean, you don't ignore everything else, obviously.
Sure. No, definitely not.
Like, if you are gonna have one focal point, for me, that would be it. But,
yeah. So was there like a character that was kind of the genesis of the story idea for Book of Astea, or was it multiple characters at once, or was there kind of like one singular, the OG?
Yeah, no, there's he's an idiot, the king. And,
okay.
Yeah, so he was I got the inspiration when I told this story before, but I was just doing some research or just randomly Wikipedia, spiral into
Yeah.
like Indian history, and there was this Indian king called Ashoka the Great.
Mm.
So like kind of known for this. He was like he did what kings do in the past. They went and conquered some people and did some stuff.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. So then at one point, I think he did like a whole bunch of killed a bunch of people and like conquered these people, and then afterwards he went there and like saw like the devastation left behind, and he was so repentant. He was like, I can't believe I did this.
Mhm.
That he completely became a pacifist and like a great king in theory,
Mhm.
and like spread Buddhism. So he's the one who spread Buddhism across
Okay.
South India.
Okay.
Now again, this is like a story built
Mhm.
from like his propaganda, right? So like
Right.
this
Right.
is like what we hear like 2,000 years later or whatever.
Right.
But the point is like it's a story. So I was
Mhm.
fascinated by the story. So I was like
Right.
fascinated by the story of this king who's really less evil in the sense, but just stupid and did stupid things.
Yeah.
Learns the hard lesson of growing up and like taking responsibility.
Mhm.
So like that was kind of the genesis for everything. And then the other characters started popping up around that one, right? Like
Mhm.
what's his wife, what's she like, and what's his
Mhm.
advisor like, and like kind of one by one random characters pop into my head and they just end up
Yeah.
populating the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that really goes along with the way that I always explain my process for pantsing is when you're playing a video game and you have your map, right?
Mm.
And as you're walking, the map starts expanding as you walk into it, and you may have like a little dot somewhere in the blackness out there that says, here's the next town, or here's
Yeah.
a site that you're trying to find, but you have to walk there to get the color and the landscape to appear. um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think what's cool about that is as you start out with this kind of core idea, and then you have it just kind of blossoms from there with all of the different characters and the world building, and it's then that's when you really get into the sandbox a little bit and can start to play with it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really, really good way of putting it for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to explain because I think a lot of people, when they hear, oh, you're a pantser, they often kind of think of us as people who have absolutely no idea where we're going at any point during the process, which I don't know how, there might be some people out there that do write that way, but
Yeah.
most pantsers, I would say, are not completely that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, I mean, it would show in the end product. You'd have a
Yeah.
very meandering, bad story, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, even my books, there are many things I can improve. We can even talk about those,
Always.
but like that's always going to be the case. But I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like I said, it's you pull it together in editing, you
Yeah.
discover stuff. Like you're just taking the long way to tell yourself the story, right? Like that's
Mhm.
all it is. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Yeah. And, sometimes I even think, planners probably some of them do as much work as we do in editing. So at the end of the day, it's not, there's a lot of newer authors that come in, and I think they get really caught up in what process should I copy,
Hmm.
as opposed to trying it and just kind of seeing where on the spectrum you're going to fall and what works best for you individually, because it's going to be
Yeah,
different for every person.
yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's not to say like you can be a hardcore plotter, but you can still be
Mhm.
flexible,
Oh,
right? Like
definitely.
you can like go through 90% of your book and then like rewrite the 10% afterwards,
Mhm.
like replot that
Yep.
afterwards. So it's like it's all very flexible. Like
Definitely.
it's very much just your personal way to get to an endpoint.
Yeah. Bards and Books says, glad I caught this. Riven Earth was one of my
Ooh,
favorite
a
reads
smile.
last year, and that cover.
The
This,
cover's nice. I don't know about the first part.
hey, favorite book of last year is that's a pretty big honor. Um, I always love seeing people's favorite books of the year and seeing all the, like in our circle, especially seeing the indie books that pop up on those.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Um,
starting to see more and more of them, which is really
yeah,
good.
it is a different industry now than it was even 10 years ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
Chris says, I find I'm becoming more of a pantser, but I do have set bullet points for each outline chapter, but I let the characters take over how they want to get to those guideposts. Yeah. Well, and Zammar, I don't know for you, but I think after you've been with those characters and you've spent so much time with them, daydreaming and immersing yourself in their story, you know where, like, you instinctively know how they're going to respond to scenarios and how things are going to shake out, just because you've spent so much time with them.
Yeah,
that you know where we're going.
Yeah,
to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. And like what Chris is describing, it's like I have done that as well, right? Even if I'm pantsing like 90% of my book, I might come to a chapter and kind of struggle with it and be like, okay, I'm just gonna like think this through. Like, how do I like sequence this so it makes sense? And like, I'll make bullet points. I'll do like write like 70% of the chapter and then be like, okay, I don't like what I initially wrote. I'm just gonna ignore that. And,
try different.
Exactly. So it's all flexible.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm waiting for Chris's book. I've been waiting a while. Come on, Chris.
I know.
Where is it?
We're all waiting for Chris's book. We're all like, all right, buddy. we're give me the book. Yeah, I'm super excited. He also says the color choices of all the books just jump out. The oranges and greens of the first is my personal favorite cover. Yeah. Great cover choices for sure. I know that's the downside of jumping on a Friday night is we are up against the Friday Night Delight. I know he's talking about his recent reads right now.
Is he?
But nice to have you here, Derry. Thank you for joining us. Make all the art. If we were all super rich as indie authors, that's probably the first place my money would go, is just more art.
So buy our books and we'll
and
it'll just be great.
That was a really smooth segue.
Everyone's happy,
Yeah, you got it. Hey, down in the description box below. So I want to dig into a little bit of like why fantasy specifically, because I find this conversation really interesting with fantasy authors, is like what draws you into the genre and what made fantasy like the right place for you to start as an author.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interestingly, my first foray into writing was not fantasy. I wrote like something which kind of resembles lit fic. But then I never published it, so it was just a lot of words and torture for no reason, I guess.
We got to start somewhere.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, dude, fantasy, like, it's just cool. Like, does it need more of an explanation than that? Like, it's cool. You can like do stuff. You can have like saber-toothed like tree cats and dinosaurs with trees on their back. Like, that's cool. Like, why you gotta be like all, I don't know. Like, what was there to explain? I do on a more serious note, I do like I feel like fantasy just gives you so much flexibility to like explore things thematically in a way that like it's kind of difficult to do when you're like really tied into real world things. If that makes sense. And then also just language, like my books are probably not like as archaically written as possible, but I love like craft and like just like I'm reading Tad Williams right now, listening to Tad Williams, and it's just so atmospheric. Like all I want to do is just like close my eyes and like just listen to his words, right? And to like build the atmosphere. And I just love craft. I love language and like when it's used interestingly, and like fantasy does that very often. So
very often. Well, and you have such, like you said, it's such a cool world, as the backdrop for that beautiful craft and prose, which is just a delicious combination, especially when you have so many things that are like just the creatures and the we can go back to that kind of sword and sorcery kind of like I shouldn't say everybody. Most people love, getting a chance to step outside of real world into that kind of a world and just dream. It's such a cool space for that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like a safe space to explore, stuff which can be kind of tricky to explore otherwise.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know how like I'm just trying to think of like a story where you can easily explore like what I'm doing with this, where you have a king making all these stupid mistakes and getting his people killed and having regret.
Yeah.
How do you? I guess you could kind of do that in an alternate history, but
Yeah.
I don't
But
think.
it's more fun with magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you can have magic, why would you not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we have to talk about creatures, fantasy creatures, because
Mm.
your book one prologue is one of my favorite book, like fantasy openings I have read
Um,
in the last few years. Like, I absolutely love it so much. And I remember being on the first couple pages, and I usually read a lot of my reading I do at night before I go to sleep, and my husband's reading his book next to me, and every once in a while we'll share thoughts about what we're reading. And I remember just putting the book down and looking at him and being like, there are dryads in this book. Nobody writes dryads. That's so cool. So I want to talk a little bit about your inspiration for pulling and dryads, and you've got saber-toothed tiger, mountain forest cats, and you have dinosaur colossi, and so talk to me about fantasy creature creation and how to incorporate them into your fantasy book in a way that's really seamless and makes sense, because I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm stuck here because I'm like, it's a big question.
Sorry.
I
asked the hard ones over here.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's a good one.
So
yeah.
Why dryads, first of all?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So like generally speaking, it's largely like nature themed, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Dinosaurs with trees growing out of their backs, like whatever,
Yeah.
saber-toothed cat with like leaves for a mane and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I mean grass Pokemon, like really that's
Yeah,
like
that checks
where a
out.
lot of the inspiration comes from. It's just grass Pokemon.
Yeah.
But really like it kind of tied into the thematics of the book.
Yeah.
Where, like as I'm like working through this book, I'm kind of like understanding that okay, there's this general theme of like environmentalism that
Yeah.
runs like
Yeah.
beginning to end of the series. Like that's probably the biggest overall theme of the series. It's just like the interactions with men and like humans and the environment and like what we do to the environment, but like it's not necessarily evil. We're just trying to live, but like regardless, despite that, whatever cause harm to the environment and how we don't understand often what we're doing in that sense. So then in that sense, it's like the animals just kind of came to me as part of like this just vision of a very lush world that's kind of dying, I guess, losing a lot of that lushness, a lot of that world, and a lot of the magic in it. And yeah, they kind of just stem out of that. And then dryads, it's like they kind of felt like this this quasi-human race. So it's kind of like a connection with humanity in a way, but a deeper connection to nature than men.
Completely different culture.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like this interaction of like, okay, they have more closeness to nature and they interact with nature differently versus us, and then you can kind of show the contrast and like how it's like pretty important to the themes of the story.
Yeah. Right, and how does that feed into the overall conflict of the story? And I think so many of the interesting elements of storytelling come out of contrasts between characters, between the world and the characters, between different parts of the world, different cultures, different races, any of that. And I think that's just such a lush like ground for creating really unique and interesting conflict. And I love that. And the creatures definitely feel like they just kind of appear out of the ground. Like it's such an immersive world, and like you said, lush, and it feels very vibrant too. Like the colors on your covers, I feel like really mirror the tone and the world inside the book, which they don't always do. Sometimes you'll see a cover like, wow, and then you get into the book and you're like, this doesn't really match. And I think your covers really do a great job of eliciting that same kind of like vibrancy that's in the world inside. So I love that.
Well, no, thank you for that. Just to answer Minerva's question, honestly, one book, because there's Art
Yeah,
of the Dryad right there. So,
yep. There you go,
um,
book one.
yeah. But but anyway, going back to the writing thing, it's actually very interesting, Tori, because I'm gonna expose myself to you.
Oh boy.
And this might mean that no one will ever like me as an author ever again. But
Oh
I'm gonna do
no.
it. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Okay. All right.
so the funny thing is, I was very shocked when so many people were like, "Oh, the world building in this series is so cool."
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, "Really?" Because I just don't think that much about world building, which is
Mm,
really funny, right?
yeah.
Like I built the world around the characters and, like I said, those scenes. So
Yeah.
like how do I, like an example of that is, there are horses. The horses in this world are like, they're kind of like deer antler
Mm-hmm.
things which have like vines on their backs. And the idea there is like the vines can go and like hold things and like pick you up and like
Mm-hmm.
bring you up to the horse. That creature exists because there's one character in this who's like completely crippled and like he's dying,
Yeah.
right? And he has like a long journey to go on. I'm like, I need to get this guy on a horse, but he can't climb a horse because he's like sick and dying,
I
right?
love
So
that.
I'm gonna make a horse which will pick him up and put him on his back, and like that's where it came from. Like that's literally it.
But that's such
So
a like world building out of necessity, I feel like is an underrated skill though.
yeah,
I mean, it's not there for fluff. It actually matters to the story that it's telling, which is pretty cool actually.
yeah. I mean, that's the interesting thing is, like, I think um, a lot of fantasy authors, like I actually think this is like a trap where they just get
Mm,
really caught up in the world,
yes.
and they're like they're gonna spend hours and hours detailing out their world, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tempt
Yeah,
myself by doing that, because I
right.
know that if I do that, I'm gonna put too much of it in my book, more
Mhm.
than there needs to be. It'll drag things down. It'll just kind of ruin it. So that's
Mhm.
why, like, my pantsing strategy is kind of like, okay, what world building thing do I need to make this plot, this theme, these
Right.
character moments work, right? And then as I'm working through it, I'm like, oh, now I know what the world is like,
Yeah.
like so
Yeah, it kind of starts building itself around the story, which is I think that's my personal philosophy is that that's the best kind of world building because I'm the type of reader where when I go into a book and I can tell that the author spent a lot of time on the world building, but it doesn't really it's like a pretty set dressing. Like it doesn't really connect with the characters. It doesn't really do anything. It's just pretty. And
yeah.
there's something to be said for that, but I'm like, but I want to know why it matters. Like why do we
Mhm.
care?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And then, like, if you can directly relate to, like, um how the world is, why it is
mm,
that way, and why
mhm.
the characters are the way they are because the world is that way, right?
Right,
And
exactly.
like, for me, it's like, you could start with the world and be like, okay, what kind of people live in this world?
Hmm.
Or you can start with the characters and be like, okay, these are my characters. What kind of world do they live in?
Yeah, I love
Right.
that.
And like,
Yep.
that's like just going backwards. That's maybe the direction that I tend to take.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the characters that influence how the world is built around them, I think make it feel more cohesive and immersive because everything is connected from the day that it kind of appears in the story. Um, yeah. See, I don't think you're offending anybody here.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks, Isma. I appreciate that.
the creatures are so cool, and I think one of the things that Riven Earth brought up for me that really kept thinking about was that I love when I read a book where with world building or creature design or things like that, I love seeing authors take risks and push boundaries with that. And like you said, you may not even be thinking about it that way as you're writing it, but an opening prologue where we're, in the basically in the POV of a dryad the whole time, and it's so cool to see authors really playing with the tools that fantasy offers us because I
Mhm.
do think we play it safe too often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That prologue was rewritten so many times, but
That is the thing that I always tell people is like the beginning of the book if you like it, I'm so glad because that out of the whole book, I guarantee you that is rewritten the
Yeah,
most.
that and the blurb. Like, oh my god, the damn blurbs.
Can we talk about how all like you can write like a 300,000 word book and it is not as stressful as 2 paragraphs for the blurb on the back of your book ever.
That's literally me right now. I'm like, I have no idea how
I'm
I'm gonna blurb
sorry.
this new book. I can't do it. I can't even think about it.
So, okay, so the new book, are we in the same world or is this something completely different?
It's something that is so extremely different
Ooh.
that I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's the new book is my personal homage to one of my favorite authors over there, Robin Hobb. But
Ooh.
it's like a more modern version of a Hobb book. So it's
Okay.
kind of set in like a 1914 to 1920 kind of ish era.
Okay.
And it's almost like a modern retelling of like the Persian Greek Wars.
Okay.
Well, I mean, not retelling is the wrong word, but it's like a that's the setting,
Influenced by that?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So imagine like World War I being fought by the Persians and the Greeks, except the Greeks have magic and the Persians have guns, and there's
I'm
a
sold. I'm sold.
and and yeah, like it's really just a coming of age story, and
I love that.
yeah. So it's very, very different, but I have had just the best time writing it because for this new book, it's like I did a framing narrative, and I adore
Mm,
reading framing narratives, and I was
sure.
like, I'm gonna like go out of my way and write one, and it's just such a vivid and intimate experience to be like in one
Mm,
character's head for 300,000 words, and just
mhm.
like it felt like I was just a. This is gonna sound so lame. This is so lame, but it actually felt like I was kind of just like a conduit to get these words on the page.
I
This character is
totally
like
get
literally
that.
just telling me a story because it's a frame. It
Yes.
is actually a framing narrative. Like they're
Yes.
actually like I did this and then I did that. And I'm like, okay, I'm writing it down. You know, like
Yeah. No,
that's how
that
it went.
completely makes sense to me because I remember when I was talking to Sylvia from Library Unbounded last year, and we were talking about the writing process, and she loved or kept going back to the fact that I said that I discover or find these characters. I don't feel like I create them in the sense that like they didn't exist before me, which
Yeah.
also kind of sounds weird depending on your writing process, but like
Mhm.
I'm here to find, I'm here just to tell the story,
Yeah.
and I look at the book as if it is a story that already exists and I'm just writing it down.
Yeah.
And I think that, and especially if you're writing a framed narrative and it's like almost like a historical record, I think that kind of approach makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like now I'm looking back and like reading it. Now I'm editing it. So
Hmm.
hoping to get it out sometime this year.
Cool.
But while editing it, it feels like I kind of wrote like a memoor of like this
Oh
character who doesn't
yeah,
exist, but like that's what it feels like. It's like I
yeah,
just wrote a memoir, you know,
I love that. Yeah. Well,
which is
I think
really
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to fit from what you're explaining of the story. I think that's going to fit the story you're telling really, really well.
Yeah. I hope so. But you know, cover art, blurbs, there's a lot that's gonna be hard.
I know
So,
I have to write a blurb for the back of Fate of Thieves pretty soon here, and I'm
mm,
already dragging my feet, and I'm like, can I just pay someone else to write this for me?
I'm excited to read it.
It's just
So,
it's not well. I had no idea because you've been teasing in the Discord a little bit, like I finished the book and here's my stats on it, but you hadn't really said anything about what it was about. So
oh yeah,
not too
yeah,
much. You've been keeping it kind of quiet. So I'm really, that sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm ready. So like I can't wait for that to drop. That's gonna be awesome.
yeah. I think it's cool because I think we don't do fantasy in that era very often. You know,
No, no,
like you do see like Gaslamp, like Victorian era.
sure.
You see
Yep,
those, and it's
yep,
like that's kind of cool. But
yep,
like, what if we did something a little bit more modern? I feel like we could
yeah.
do something interesting. You know?
It's because I think a lot of fantasy authors are terrified of firearms.
Yes, one hundred
Yeah,
percent.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
one of them, so I get it.
yeah,
Even with Cold Silver, knowing that my main character has revolvers and that there are rifles and everything, I was like, this is just a whole different, like
it's a
we're
whole
so,
other thing.
you can't just
Yeah,
stab him with the pointy end anymore like this. You actually have to know like what's the range on these different weapons, and it's
Yeah.
a whole different beast.
It is a whole different beast, and I think it's also like it's a different way of writing action, because it's like
Yeah.
you don't have like a longer drawn out
Yeah.
fight as you might have in a sword or with swords. But then I'm like, when I'm reading an action scene, I'm like, okay, I just want to know who wins at some point. You know, like a lot of the time, that's kind of how it boils down to. So I'm like, what's really important? Like, what does this action scene mean? Like, what are we getting out of this? Right? And then like you can build suspense and drama and everything, and like you can build an intense scene around that using guns. Even I think that's my theory, but we'll see how well.
No, I think that makes a lot. Have you read Guns of the Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky?
I love that book.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think I do love the juxtaposition of writing fantasy that includes firearms versus magic. I think that that's such a cool, because you say, oh, like you have a firearm, that's a great equalizer, but it really pairs well with, okay, but what does that look like against magic? Because now you have, if you have someone with a sword versus someone with magic, the fight's still going to be fairly lopsided depending on what the magic is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I love that. That's a really cool. So, okay, so we have the first book. Is this like a bigger series, or how are you? Is it standalone?
I call it a standalone, which will probably also be a prequel, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like we said, man. Like I wrote this book, and at the end of it, I'm like, I guess I have a world now.
Yeah, why not?
Books there.
What else can I do here?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see it being a prequel to a series, or okay?
I think so. Yeah.
So if you're talking a longer series, then are you going to have to pull out some planner practices for that one?
I might, or it'll just be a bad series. Like, it could be either option. Right? I'm just writing books. No one said they have to be good, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You can do whatever you want. That's awesome. Well, I mean, I hope the chat is convincing you that you're not writing bad books, because there's a lot of I love Chris's comment. Totally agree with this. I guess I found your world building as organic as the general environmental themes of your series is very natural and not forced. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's very kind words.
Hey, Mac, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
Okay, so when we're talking about unique fantasy series, I want to take author hat off for a second and put reader hat on. I love, like I said, I was saying this backstage, I love having guests on who are both readers and authors, because it's just so fun to talk about both ends of the spectrum.
Can I ask real fast?
Yeah.
Have you ever had one that's just an author, and they're like, I don't read anyone else's books, I only write my own?
No, I've met a couple of authors who really don't read much at all.
Well,
and I'm always
it is hard to read. It is hard to read when you're
and I think that where you see that oftentimes is really avid gamers. So they're getting storytelling in, just not as much through
books.
Books, but I mean, video games are a completely different storytelling medium. So it is interesting to see how that inspires novels as opposed to reading other novels.
I bet that's more common in like lit RPG and stuff like that.
There you go. Don has a title.
I think that's my series name.
There you go.
Thanks.
You'll have to credit Don in the acknowledgement. So the unique series, what are some of the, I know we were talking about Tide Child a little bit before we went live, but what are some really series that you felt as a reader really kind of pushed those boundaries in terms of setting or the way that they're being told?
You're putting me on the spot here. Sorry, I'm looking at my like TBR over here. And I recently read books.
First of all, while you're thinking about it, we just need to mention very briefly, as somebody who has like almost, I think I have 600 books on my TBR on Goodreads. I went on your Goodreads today because I always do that with people that have them. There's like 16 books on your TBR, and I need to know what your secret is to have that kind of restraint.
The secret is I don't do my TBR on Goodreads, really. I have like a spreadsheet.
Okay, so it's somewhere else.
No. God, that's so embarrassing. I was like, But as soon as you said you went on my Goodreads, I'm like, shit, what's on my Goodreads? I'm like,
Well, you've read, I think, 129 books, and there's
oh my
16 books
goodness.
on your TBR.
Yeah, no, I made a Goodreads account way back, and then
Sure.
it's only like after I published my own books that I
For
started
your
being like,
author
okay, I
page.
should actually like use this a little bit.
Yeah.
So now it's like I go on and I'll like review books, and sometimes I forget to do that, which is
Yeah.
bad. But yeah,
I'm
no,
so
like
behind.
yeah,
Hi,
600 books is a lot.
leave me alone, okay? There's so many good books out there.
Yeah,
And you guys keep writing them. Stop it.
that's true. I struggle with TBRs because I'm like, I find them very overwhelming. So I think I am kind of more of a mood reader. I have like a list of like, okay, these are books I've been interested in. And then usually it's like, okay, I ask friends, what should I read next? Or like, what are you guys reading? Like I'll hop on, or I'll just be like, okay, I don't know what, I'll just pick something random from the list.
Yeah.
Or a lot of the time, I don't know if you have this too, where I'm like, oh, I need something which will like help me improve what I'm writing. So like recently it's like I'm writing a frame narrative. I need to read like a lot of frame narratives. And that's why I was reading like Empire the Vampire, and I was reading
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I know you're a big fan, Senlin Ascents.
Yes.
Like talking about a unique world that's
Yes.
really spectacularly well done.
Very much so.
I think I've probably complained about book 4 to you. I think you liked book 4 more than I did.
Did like book 4. Yes.
Yeah. But anyway,
because you picked was number 1 was your favorite, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, and 3, they were all good. I think number 1 was probably my favorite. That's when I felt the most emotionally invested in it.
Yeah.
But
we kind of had opposite trajectories on that series then.
That's so interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that is just okay.
Actually, book 3 and 4, I ended up picking Hod King is my favorite of the 4. But I was going back and forth between Fall of Babel and Hod King. I like the structure of Hod King a lot better, but
yeah. I think like so I guess a couple of small points for me is like with book 4, it's like by the time you got to book 4, I felt like a lot of the magic of the tower it kind of died.
That's fair.
And then also I think it kind of emphasized there were almost like 2 plot lines, I think, by that point. And it kind of emphasized the plot line I didn't like as much. And then
sure. Yeah, that's fair.
It's fine. It was a great read the whole time. Like the writing, series. The wit, the prose, like everything was fantastic.
Oh, his prose is amazing. Yeah. I got mad at him so many times while I was reading. I was like, can you just stop? Stop. How? It's just not fair.
Yeah, because it's not like Tad Williams, which I'm reading right now. It's not like very dense. Rich, archaic, dense prose. No. Like it's just witty and interesting and like just like and very readable. Yeah, exactly. And and like often very funny.
Oh yeah. There was some really good humor.
Yeah. So Senlin Ascents definitely really good. I have to have a shout out for Temeraire, which is like became one of my it was like my 3rd favorite series last year. But His Naomi Majesty's Dragon, Naomi Novik. Because I mean, talking about prose, it's just amazingly well written. But also like it's maybe like the best Dragon Rider fantasy series I've read. Like the Dragon Rider Bond is like maybe my favorite that I've read. Because like I mean, I guess I haven't read that many, but like even then, the Dragon Rider. Usually, I'm like, you know what, guys, dragons are overrated. We should have like saber-toothed like cats with trees for like
you can. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why have dragons when you can have dinosaurs and whatever? That's like generally my mindset. but Temeraire is just special. Like the Dragon Rider Bond is really cool, but also like the world I find is just very interesting because it's like this is the Napoleonic era, except now you have dragons, and the dragons are like airships. So like every dragon has 50 people on it, and they're like shooting muskets at the other dragon while the dragons are like fighting with each other, and it's like it's just really cool. So
that's awesome. I love authors pushing boundaries. I love that so much.
And it's like, what do you even call that? Like alternate history fantasy? Because like Napoleon is there, like Nelson is there. Yeah, like they're characters. So
that's amazing. Definitely like an alternate history fantasy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you need all three of those words in there
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Well, and that's why it's so tough because I know when I read The Company last year, which I absolutely loved,
Yeah, I
there's
need to
not
read that.
even magic in it, really. Like it's just alternate history, but it feels so much like a fantasy world and a fantasy type story. That it's not fantasy, but I feel like alternate history can kind of straddle that line a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's oh, now I think about it, GGK. Have you read much GGK?
I read Lions of Al-Rasan last year, and I want to read what's the Asian inspired one? It's Under Heaven.
Under Heaven,
Yeah,
yeah.
I want to read that one for sure.
Okay. What did you think of Lions? Did you like it?
I loved so many things about it. I loved I think his character arcs are fascinating. I loved the way that because you've read Lions, right?
I have not read Lions,
Oh, you
actually.
haven't read it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
won't say anything specific, but I really like a lot of the themes, and there were some ending moments that were just absolutely incredible payoffs for the character arcs that we had through the book. I do think that, and I've said this in my reviews of the book, I do think that someone needs to take away GGK's pen when he starts writing a spicy scene, because it's so bad. And
That's so funny.
I'm like, someone please take this man's pen away.
He's got an imagination,
Yeah, he certainly does. But yeah, I mean, I think he has, and also like not just the character payoffs and arcs, but the interpersonal relationships between them, which is something I always really love. I think he's very good at. I can see why so many people love his writing, and with that kind of quasi alternate history historical backdrop, it's a really fascinating blend of genre.
Yeah, for sure. And like I mentioned him because I'm still working through his catalog, so I have a lot to go through. But like, especially like A Brightness Long Ago and All the Seas of the World, those are like I think his newer books. It's kind of like Renaissance Italy-ish setting.
Sure.
But the reason I mention it is just in terms of setting, it's there's magic, but it's very subtle. But the whole setting still feels kind of magical,
Yeah.
So just the way he's built that world, I think, is really really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've gotten to a point where we talk about like magic systems so much, and I know that's a conversation going around the community right now quite a bit. I'm kind of the school of thought where you have like visual overt magic, but then also like you talking about the magic in the setting itself. I do feel like the world itself can contain the magic of a story, and it can still feel like a fantasy novel. And I feel like The Company is very much that kind of a book. And I think GGK kind of leans into that a little bit too, because I think he's the one that describes it as historical fiction with one quarter turn to the fantastic.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and so it reads like historical fiction.
Yeah.
But
it really does. Oh yeah, Chris, we did the Brightness Long Ago read along, which is so much fun. And we absolutely need to do that.
Brightness is another one that I have on my TBR because I've heard some really good things about that one. So
it's beautiful. I don't like. I read Serentine Mosaic as well.
Oh sure.
And everyone says Serentine Mosaic is like I don't know, his masterpiece, like Lord of Emperors, like book 2. It's always like one of the favorites for everyone. And like I just thought that Brightness was a whole other level from that. It's like this is like a master at his peak. It's like he's like written for like 30 years, and now he's like just able to do things with language, which like every sentence was like blowing my mind. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't stop gushing about it. So
that's awesome. I love the feeling of finding a new author that you're just like you feel like you've been waiting for them and their books. Such a good feeling.
100%.
Hey Angie, how's it going? Leah loves, I'm assuming you're talking about Temeraire. Yep.
Yeah.
That's such a cool, like, okay, so I know that you've read quite a bit of historical fiction as well, that's a genre you enjoy. So, and I think actually from your 2025 favorites, you had a massive duology single story that was your favorite book of the year last year. So what are some of your favorite like historical fiction eras. What kind of eras of history do you like digging into the most, or different cultures, or like do you have specific emphasis areas that you look for?
Honestly, I think I'm pretty open and cool with
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
I feel like a vast majority of historical fiction is European
Yeah.
medieval stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's what you see the most often, which is always good. Like I love
Mhm.
Bernard Cornwell. Like
Mm.
I've read a bunch of his books, not just the God, the Arthurian legend. Why am I
Sure, sure,
blanking
sure.
on it? Warlord
Them is
Chronicles.
the Winter King.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all
yeah,
I remember.
yeah. Which I loved, but like
Mhm.
I read a bunch of his other books, like Agincourt and a few others.
Okay.
So like I love that, but I also really enjoy like wartime, like
Mm.
World War II era and like
Mhm.
World War One era books, which is kind of maybe one reason why my own book is kind of
Steering
ending
that
up in that
direction.
steering in that direction, because I'm like reading those books, I'm like, what if we just
This
put
is
a bit of
really
fantasy
good.
into this, you know?
Yeah.
um, yeah, having said all that, I think probably like a Napoleonic era setting might be my favorite,
Mm.
just because like the language is like accessible. Like authors are able to write in a way like where that world just comes to life through the language
Yeah.
while still being very accessible, right?
Yeah.
If you're writing like a medieval book and you were like using the language of that time, it would be really hard and kind
Yeah.
of hard, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like something like Temeraire, which I mean obviously is fantasy, but like just I don't know, I just love the language. Like people used to do English so good. I don't know what I don't know what happened.
I don't know
You know?
what happened. Yeah, it's interesting because I just finished Diamond Eye, which is a World War II
Ooh,
historical fiction about a sniper named Ludmila Pavlichenko, and she was a Russian, like essentially a single mother, um, who became a sniper against the Germans, um, and just what a fascinating life story. And that one leaned a little, and I haven't talked about it in my wrap up yet, but it leaned a little more historical fiction with too many liberties at the end for me.
fair enough.
But her story was just fascinating in,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I like looking for, in any era of history, I like looking for the outliers, like the people that, the individual stories of people involved who were, maybe not in the officer's tent, or like
Yeah.
the frontline kind of people, or the regular people that got left behind, or the people that are just the townspeople that get overrun by two armies
Yeah.
clashing right outside their front door. I think those kind of stories are really fascinating.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's so much potential there. And there's a lot of historical fiction. I think
Mhm.
it's not talked about that much in our circles, but it's
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where I feel like most fantasy readers would enjoy it as well.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Because so much fantasy is also inspired by historical events and characters. And
Yeah.
um, I mean, you're writing in the kind of early 1900s era, firearms versus magic. I'm digging into like ancient Joseon era Korea with bloodstones, and like and the world is so full of so many fascinating historical events and figures that it's really you could be there forever writing books.
100%. Especially like if you were very brave and you went to like antiquity and like the
Yeah,
ancient world, and like those
yeah,
stories are like I mean, they're just stories, right? We don't know what was actually happening back then,
sure.
but they're
That's what
really cool.
survives. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I mean, they're so close to fantasy at that point that, like, are
yeah,
you really enhancing the story that much by bringing it into a secondary world? No, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Leah's read a lot of Bernard. He is an author I have not tried yet. I need to try a Bernard Cornwell.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very, very solid, I would say.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kai has beat the system. Just a single TBR item. Her whole collection is one TBR book.
That's funny. Yeah, I've written down The Diamond Eye. I shall check that out.
It's good. I
Yeah.
think I do think the author took some liberties with it that made it a little bit inflated, especially in the last third of the book. Um, it makes me very interested to read Pavlichenko's actual memoir, because she does have a memoir. The hard part is, how much of her memoir is adjusted to fit that kind of the time Soviet kind of propaganda thing about making everything better than it was. And, I'm sure there was a lot of control over how her memoir was being written.
Yeah.
But I still would be really curious to read her story from her own point of view, for sure.
Yeah. The two, I know you mentioned it really quickly, but just so anyone knows in the chat, like my favorite books of last year were The Winds of War and War and Remembrance by Herman Wouk. And that was just like I don't know, like I think in audiobooks it was like 100 hours.
Oh my gosh.
To get 100 hours audio of just like one family drama that spanned the full length of World War II. And it was just really, like, the scope of it was insane. And I love family dramas. Like, I don't know if you're like me. They're just so good.
I do too.
I feel like we underrate family in fantasy. We're all about friendships and Motley Crews, but like family is just something special on its own.
Especially when it's multi-generational.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you read Blackwater by any chance?
No, I have not. But I heard, who was talking about it?
I think Mike
talked about it. Well, I know I saw it on one of your videos, because I was going back through some of your older videos today, and I know you mentioned it in one of your wrap-ups, I think.
Yeah. Talk about family drama. It's just really, really good.
Family drama with multiple meanings to the phrase. Yeah, it's one of the things I loved so much about like Greenbone Saga, is I love that you are with those characters through an entire lifetime. And I love the stories that go multi-generational, and that's got to be, as a writer, that's got to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. I don't even know how I would approach that very, very carefully.
I'm just trying to think through it, and it's like, I don't know.
I'm
going to stick to whatever nonsense I'm doing.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We have to start somewhere and build our craft. Maybe we'll get there someday.
Fair enough. I still haven't read Greenbone book 3. I ended up DNFing after book 2.
Oh, did you? Okay. In book 3 or before book 3?
After book 2. It felt book 2 kind of dragged for me. The story was good. The characters were good. I just the writing style did not gel at all.
Work.
I really struggled with it. But
that's fair.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's really funny, because looking through like a lot of your favorites and a lot of your Goodreads ratings and everything, we have so many that we have the same opinion on, and then there's some that we have like drastically different experiences with.
We have a very similar opinion on The Howling Dark.
Yes, we do, which is I'm so glad that I wasn't alone through that, because we read it about the same time, didn't we?
Yeah. I was so vindicated by your video. I was like, oh, thank God, I found someone who feels the same way.
Yes, I'm not alone.
Literally
it's a hyped series.
I know. Everyone's like, oh, book 1 is like whatever, but just wait until book 2. Just wait until book 2. And then book 3 will blow you away. And then I'm like, book 1 was great. What are you guys talking about? And then book 2 was like, I don't want to continue after this.
Yeah, book 1 wasn't like the most amazing thing I'd ever read, but I was intrigued. I was excited for where it was going. And then I got to book 2 and I was like, I'm sorry, what? What are we doing?
100%.
So I don't know. I still haven't completely closed the door. I may go back and try Demon in White at some point. I have the Kindle version of it. But I did try, I think I tried the first couple pages of Demon in White, and I was just like, nope. I can't stand being in Hadrian's head, and we're in Hadrian's head the entire series. So like,
I know. That's just it. Like, I keep telling myself I'm gonna go read book 3 any day now, and then I just keep putting it off.
It is funny, because I have heard a couple of people mention, though, that they really had a similar experience as we did with the first couple of books, and then book
Then it picked
3 like really kind of picked up in church. So I don't know. You never know.
But the thing is, Tori, if I read it and I loved it, then I won't have my contrary opinion anymore.
That
And
is true. Those are
that would
valuable.
suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would suck so much.
It
So
is fun to be contrary sometimes.
exactly.
I think one of my favorite videos I ever dropped just for the response alone was the series that I'm DNFing or not interested in reading, because it was just, I mean, I think Mike, one of my favorite comments, Mike just showed up in the comments and he was like, "This is a massacre." And I was like, I wasn't intending for it to be, but a lot of them are like big series.
That's
So
so
I
funny.
was like, I'm sorry. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I'm surrounded by so many Abercrombie fans, because that's probably the only reason why I will read the standalones going forward.
Are you actually going to?
I
Like,
don't know. I want to read the heroes, and I keep getting stuck in this spot where
I think you
I just
might like heroes. I don't know for sure. You might like it.
and Red Country's got like a fantasy Western vibe, which I'm all about. So I'm
Yeah.
curious. I don't want to read Best Served Cold. And everybody is like, you have to read Best Served Cold before you read anything. And I'm just like, I have no interest in Best Served Cold.
I would say it's better to read Best Served Cold, but you don't have to. Just
Mhm.
read the heroes. Who cares?
Yeah.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can read them out of order. Who cares? Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy
I
it.
can do whatever
Or
I
you
want.
might not. Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually think that if you liked any Abercrombie books, it would be Age of Madness. I think that those feel like the most Tory-esque
Okay.
Abercrombie book to me.
I'm curious to see, because I've read 2 trilogies by him now. I read Shattered Sea and I read First Law. And I really loved a lot of I loved Half a King in the first book in the Shattered Sea trilogy.
Okay.
Loved that. I loved first, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, the first book of
The Blade itself.
that one. Blade itself, I liked. Before They Are Hanged, I loved. I gave that one 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. And then Last Argument of Kings was one of those I want to throw this across the room books.
And it's one of my favorite books of all time. So
I know, and I have so many friends who have the same like experience with it, that they absolutely love it. And I have a very specific Tory reason why that just for me is something that storytelling wise does not ever work. But or like a trope that he uses at the end. But he didn't use the same trope at the end of Shattered Sea, but that third book in that trilogy was so bad. It was so awful. And so I'm like, okay, I want to read a trilogy by Abercrombie that doesn't make me mad at the end. Please. Yeah, I know. That's why I've been a little hesitant.
I don't know if you'll ever get that, to be honest. I think even Abercrombie fans are mad, but that's what they want. You know, we want to be angry.
Want to be mad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you did that again.
Fantasy fans are, I get it.
It's masochism, we just enjoy the pain.
100%. Yeah, I want to be so mad at the end of this series that I just tell everybody how mad I am about it. But it's amazing. You should read it.
But I will say, I actually think that you would enjoy the journey in Age of Madness.
Journey before destination. Okay, Sanderson. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so Abercrombie, but what are some of the other, like, if you had to name the 5 authors that have been kind of pillars for you as a reader and writer, or who would that be?
Yeah, so Abercrombie for sure, and I mentioned Hobb earlier. So like I said, my newest work is literally just an homage to Robin Hobb.
I love that. That's super cool.
Even though it's very different as well. But thinking. What even do I read? What have I read? What are my favorite books?
Do I read books? I know this is the thing when we ask these questions. All of a sudden, your brain's like, "I've never read a book in my life. I don't know what you're talking about."
100%. I'm like, we share this one.
Okay.
The Lies of Lochlamora.
Yes.
Just can I do a mic drop right there and just leave it at that and just
100%. Yes.
one of my absolute favorite series. Like
Brilliant.
ever.
Talk about world building.
Mm.
Like, I always tell people, and I know this is a broken record at this point, y'all can get out your bingo cards, but like, every time people talk about, the characters are amazing. I love the characters in that series. And also, he does not get enough credit for his prose and his world building, in my opinion.
Oh, not just that, like everything, like even
Everything.
the plotting.
He's so
like,
good.
it's just so well balanced. I feel
Yeah.
like, okay, I actually kind of had this argument with Ben, because Ben didn't like book one that much, and I was like making the case that I feel like book one might be one of the most technically best written fantasy books I've ever read. It's just perfect, like in every way. It just like everything is just so tight and like just really well done. And I actually like book two more, but regardless, like book one is just, it's just really good, like so well balanced.
I don't think I realized the brilliance of book one's structure until I reread it. Like, I loved it the first time. I absolutely loved it. But going back the second time and knowing what was coming and seeing how tightly foreshadowed every little thing was it blew my mind. I was like, how does he know how to do that so well? And you have no idea if you don't know what's coming.
At the same time, making such colorful characters with like such great turns of prose, like just the whole thing was just amazing.
Derry with some Hob love in the comments.
I'm a huge Derry fanboy. Forget Hob.
Yeah, Derry over Hob. Somebody was like, "Do you want to meet Robin Hobb or Derry?" I would say Derry. Let's be real. Like, Robin Hobb's amazing, but Derry first.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Song of Ice and Fire, obviously.
Oh, sure.
A huge fan. Like, that was very, very influential going into the genre. Lord of the Rings as well when I was younger. Harry Potter when I was younger. I think very common. Did you ever read Animorphs?
No, I have several friends who were big into the series, but I've never read it.
Yeah, but I guess you've heard of it, right? Like,
no, for sure. Yeah.
I read so many of those books when I was young. So,
yeah.
You know.
So but there's no like there's no changelings or werewolves or anything in your books yet.
Not yet. But,
not yet. Okay.
It might happen someday.
Yeah, it's funny because I had somebody recently like, you have like wolves in everything, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a motif for me at this point. There's not a wolf in a book I write. It's questionable. Like, is it from me? Is it actually me?
Hey, wolves are cool. So
wolves are awesome. Yeah.
Like whoever thinks they're too cool for wolves because they're like only people trying to be cool like wolves, the people who say that suck. Yeah. And their opinions don't matter. So
I like that. I like that approach. Yeah, thanks, Britton. I've really struggled. That's one of the hard things about fantasy too, and I feel like being in a community where everybody has such strong opinions about books. It's very, I wouldn't say it's easy for me to be talked out of things at this point because I've been around for too long, so I'm just going to do what I want. But it is like when so many people are like, oh, you really need to read these in order, or you really can't skip something. And it's like that one book is stopping you from reading the next one, and so you just never do. It's kind of depressing because I do want to try the heroes, because the Northmen were my favorite part of the First Law trilogy by so far. So
yeah. Well, you love military fantasy, right?
I do. Yeah.
I really think you should give it a shot. Like,
I think I should too.
Like, what's the alternative? Like, either you're stuck in this position where you're like, oh, you have to read Best Served Cold first, and then you just end up never reading the heroes, or just read the heroes, right? And like,
right,
it's fine. Yeah. You're not gonna miss anything. There's like one character who, like, you know, like, okay, fine, you're like learning his story out of order, but like, who cares? It's just a whatever side character. Like, who cares?
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Well, and I'm also not I'm not a spoilers averse person as much as a lot of people are. So even if I'm reading something out of order, it's not going to affect my experience of the story too much.
Yeah.
So,
oh, Terry gave you permission to skip live shifts too. I remember.
Yes, she did. Thank you, Derry. I appreciate that, and I'm going to.
I'm excited for your thoughts on Tawny Man.
I'm excited to read them. I'm really looking forward to getting back to Fitz and the Fool. It's gonna be awesome. What did he compare to Killer Angels written? Have you read that, Zammar?
No, but you did put it on my TBR. I'm
Good.
very excited for that.
It is probably my favorite historical fiction book of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's Civil War related, right?
It is. Yeah, it's Gettysburg, Civil War, and so my family is descended from a man who fought in the 1st Minnesota Regiment during most of the major battles of the Civil War. So, like, as we're cleaning out my grandpa's house right now, we have literally rooms full of family history stuff that we're trying to go through,
Cool.
which is super cool. And the 1st Minnesota was a pretty awesome, decorated and respected regiment, and not a ton of them came home. So it's kind of a miracle that my family exists, because I don't know how he survived all of that. But there's another regiment in the Civil War, and because my grandfather was a historian of that era, that's probably what I know the most about in history. And there's another regiment called the 20th Maine that was led by Colonel Joshua Chamberlain, and they fought on a part of the Gettysburg battle called Little Round Top. It's this little hill, and they were up on the top of it, kind of trenched in, and they ran out of ammunition.
Oh.
And they were facing a much larger Confederate force that was coming up the hill, and Joshua Chamberlain was like, "Fix bayonets." And they literally charged a firing line of like way more Confederate soldiers, and they actually turned and routed the Confederates because they were so fierce with their bayonets that they just, the guys with bullets turned around and ran. And I'm like, that's epic. Just a super cool, like, just incredibly courageous regiment and leader, and it's so cool.
To be 100% fair, like, if I was holding my whatever shitty musket from the time, and I'm like, oh, these guys are charging at me with like blades at the end of their guns, like, I'm getting out.
Yep.
Like, I'll fire like 1 or 2 shots, but then
I'm out of here. Yeah.
That's really cool that you have a connection to that story.
It's really cool. And since you brought it up, Britain, that is actually something that I have in the back of my head, is I would like to write a fantasy series that takes inspiration from some of my experience with the Civil War history and all of that. So that would be super cool.
That would be super, super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Killer Angels is the story nugget that inspired Whedon to write Firefly. Oh. That's awesome. How did I not know that? Have you seen Firefly?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's quite old now. It's been some time since I saw it, so I'm just trying to remember everything, but I just remember thinking it was really good.
It's excellent. So if you're a big Robin Hobb fan, you've read, I'm assuming, the entire Realm of the Elderlings.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is your favorite book, and what's your favorite series within Realm of the Elderlings?
Favorite book would be Fool's Errand.
Okay.
Sure. And favorite series is Tawny Man.
Nice.
100%, yeah.
I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of people, what was I going to say? A lot of people like the final series the most, like Fitz and the Fool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For me, it didn't hit as hard as Tawny Man did. I think I'm trying to think my ranking. I think I would put Tawny Man for. I'm doing this for Derry's sake because I know she's here.
Yep, she's got a notepad.
I hope she approves. And like, so I would put Tawny Man first.
Okay.
And then second, I would actually probably put Farseer.
Okay.
I think very controversial. And then third would be like Live Ships, and then Fitz and the Fool, and then
Rain Wilds.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're besties for life now with Derry, so that was the correct thing, apparently.
Thank you.
I think Derry would be besties with anybody, no matter what their Hobb ranking was, as long as they loved them.
Yeah. I mean, every book was awesome. So
yeah,
even Rain Wilds I enjoyed. So
she's so good as a writer. I get really geeked out when authors can hold your attention for hundreds of pages. And there isn't a ton of action like action going on.
Mm.
And like we talk about that all the time, like the characters just sit and drink tea and you're completely invested.
Yeah. Like
That's
literally,
amazing.
like my favorite part of the entire 16 book series is like,
Yeah.
it's like just they do nothing. Like
Yeah.
the beginning part of Fool's Errand is just the Fool and Fitz just chilling, and it's like,
I
and
love
Night Eyes, and it's just like the best. It's like the best in the entire series. Like that's it. That's peak Hob. And the thing is like when okay, so this is my theory on action is
yeah.
like less is more every time,
Mm,
right? So when Hob does action, it's like gut wrenching. It's like gutting.
right.
You know,
It
like
matters.
I can't believe that just happened. Like holy, like you like read it and then you're shook. Like you're physically
Yeah.
shook, right? You read an Abercrombie book, it's like someone's getting skewered like every third page, right? It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
hard to say.
But it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny. So the comedy of it keeps it going.
Yeah.
But I just think like Hob knows when to put the action in, and then because of the contrast is so great with
Yeah.
everything else, like it's just it hits so hard. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into action scenes because you mentioned something earlier that I was like, we have to talk about this. Okay, so you like, so I'm such a military fiction nerd. I love like give me the films with the director's cut for more battles. Like I love that, and I love it in books too when it's written well. I don't like when authors just write more and more and more action just there's more action. Like I want it to be really well done.
yeah.
But you make the comment that you like to just know who won. Do you do you skim action scenes?
No, no.
Okay, good. All right, we were about to have a much different conversation.
No. I was strongly exaggerating.
Yeah.
But I think like fundamentally there are some action scenes where I'm like, I just want to know, I just want this to end, and like I want to know like who lives at the end, and like those are the bad ones, right? It's like the good ones will keep you hooked throughout, and because you should care enough about the people in the action that you're like, you better not die, bro. Like,
right. If you die, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's exactly it. Like I was reading recently I finished Empire the Vampire, so I finished like all 3 books, and like that series has a lot of action. And it kind of got to the point where I'm like, this is a little bit much for me. Like, because there are some scenes where it's like, okay, why are you just fighting like the newbie vampires that like everyone knows you're gonna beat these noobs, right? They're just like whatever, the useless like run of the mill cannon fodder vampires, and it's like he's writing this intense scene where they ambush him and he's like whatever getting attacked by these, and I'm like, what's the point of this scene? Like
the plot armor really
it's like we already know exactly. So then like at the same time there are other scenes where okay, now I know he's fighting a really strong vampire. I'm like, I'm kind of worried. Everything's okay. But the issue with that book is like the main character is too overpowered, I think. Like he just wins everything. But then the side characters are the ones I'm worried for. I'm like, oh man, I don't know about these guys. Like I hope you're gonna be okay.
How often when you're reading books are you like your favorite character ends up being not the main character?
Quite often.
Yeah. Same.
Very often. But I think like to be fair, as from the author side, it's much easier to make a side character likable. I think because like you really don't have to go as in depth with them, and you can just kind of give them like traits and stuff which make them likable. But then with your main character, you're trying to make a complex, deep person. Inherently, people tend to not be likable, and therefore your main character will especially if you're like trying to go for like, let's say grimdark or something, right? Like I don't know, you need a certain trick to make.
I do feel like it kind of goes on both ends of the spectrum too, where if you have a super unlikable grimdark character, I feel like, and I don't know what this says about me as a person, but I feel like I'm way more likely to be okay with a super actual anti-hero main character than a hero character often. Because I feel like so many of the hero characters, especially, and I want to do a whole video on this because I need to rant, but I want to talk about chosen one characters so badly. I want to talk about that trope because I feel like they're almost more obnoxious and insufferable than anti-heroes or villains half the time.
I mean, it can be very eye rolly, right? Like, get over yourself, bro. Like, come on,
Yeah.
just do the damn thing.
Yeah. Like there's only so much sitting in a room philosophizing that we can handle, Hadrian. Right? Like and I know he's not meant to be like a traditional hero by any stretch of the imagination, but I think there's often and like you said before, the plot armor too. So often with those kind of heroic characters, you're like, I'm not worried about them ever. And I feel like we need more tension than that most of the time. I don't need it all the time, but I want to know that if he goes into a fight, something really bad might happen. And I don't know, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I think the way Hop does that is really good because, like I said, scarcity of action makes the action more intense.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you get numb to it because it's like happening all the time, it's like, well, I already know what's gonna happen here. So
that's something that I think as a writer, I'm really cognizant of because I'm very picky about action scenes in the books that I read because I read so much military fiction. And so it's a big deal to me to make sure that no matter how long the action scene or sequence is, that you're tying it to, like you said, what you care about. What does this tell you about the characters? This isn't just, we're hitting each other with swords. It's what are we learning about the characters and the conflict overall through this moment of fighting between two characters or a group of characters.
Yeah. I think you said it better than I could, for sure.
I thought about it a lot. It's one of my Roman empires for sure, is how to write action scenes. So
I will say, like, I'm seeing hate for the Chosen One, right? And I fully get it. I think a lot of the time done very badly, but I still just love it. Like something about it just
that's fair.
It's home for me, you know.
If it's well written.
Yeah, if it's well written, then yeah.
Well, and I feel like I don't know.
Like you know what I'm thinking of? Avatar.
What?
Like The Last Airbender.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're a fan of that, but
I've seen most of the first season of it. I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have the same nostalgia for it as a lot of people do. Yeah. But it probably won't surprise anyone that the character I found most interesting in that show was Zuko. Like, yeah, I was like,
I mean, a lot of people will agree with that, I think.
Yeah,
but
Aang is kind of milk toast for me a little bit.
Yeah, but I think by the end he's also kind of interesting. I don't know.
Give him space for growth.
Yeah, to me it's just like, oh man, you put like the fate of the world on like an 11-year-old's shoulders, and I'm like, ouch. That's my boy. That's my boy. That's I can't hate him.
Like we're over here just struggling with our daily schedules.
Yeah, like, he's allowed to complain.
He is yeah. Derry is also a big fan of Fool's Errand.
Yes.
Hob does the reality thing with violence. It can grow out of nothing very fast. The feeling that something could turn violent is what makes for tension. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 100%.
Some love for the Empire, the Vampire. Same, Leah. I read the first page and put it down. So it's one of the books. Yeah, like
I don't know if it'll be for you. I'm going to be 100% honest. It's gratuitous. There's,
Yeah, that's the thing that always puts me off of books like that is if it's just, I know that the author's out here like, I'm an edgelord. I'm just like, no, I don't. Oh.
Yeah.
His review is very funny though.
Oh, is it? Of like his own review of Empire?
He reviewed his own book, and I'm mad he thought of it first because it was really funny. Like in terms of, I wish I could go on my books and just write super funny reviews for each of them.
I think I'm going to do that next time. I'll be inspired.
Yeah. We should all do it. We should just all start putting funny reviews of like, yeah. I do enjoy. What is like some of your soapbox things about fantasy that you could rant about in like 2 seconds flat?
Ooh.
Because I know we all have them. The pet peeves.
Honestly, overpowered characters. I forget overpowered characters. Just like chill. Like give me someone who like
Who
I mean
can't?
yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. Like it's
Yeah.
especially like one reason I struggle with a lot of animes. It's like
Mm,
why are these characters so strong? They can just beat up everyone. And like I think excessive violence also really puts me
mm,
off, which
yep.
is strange because like I write books about fantasy. There's fights and stuff, but like when violence is done very excessively without like much care, like oh we just
Sure.
but when there's cannon fodder, right? So like
Yeah.
in series and shows where there's a lot of cannon fodder and these people are just getting killed because their
Getting
character's so
mowed down.
overpowered, yeah, or whatever. Like I just don't like it one
Yeah,
bit.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I agree, and that's the thing. It's not interesting either. And I think yes, there's a lot. We want to show the horrors of war and not glorify it, but at the same time, I think we also, on the other end of the spectrum, we don't want to dehumanize it to a point
Mhm.
where it's just like, yeah, we can send an entire giant group of people to their deaths and be like, oh, okay, well, like something more exciting is probably happening over there, and that's
Yeah.
in my opinion not a good way to portray it either.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Christoph is Australian. This is important. He uses cursing as sentence seasoning and he likes it salty.
I didn't know he's Australian actually.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's quite a few big Australian authors.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think like Empire of the Vampire is actually a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
I've
those
heard
books
that.
a lot. But I just think that like if you thought GGK was a bit extreme with those bedroom scenes,
Yeah, I'm not
you
surprised
know,
by that at
this
all.
is like
Yeah.
this might go like I don't know, a
I
couple
mean,
levels more.
he was even like that. I will never read the Nevernight trilogy
Oh yeah.
because I knew I was like, there's so much about this that I'm going to absolutely hate. And Empire of the Vampire, there's things about it that I've heard that do really intrigue me. I just don't know if I want to have to wade through all of the gratuitous content to get to the good stuff.
That's the thing is like I feel like the heart of the story would hit really well
It's
with you.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I think you would enjoy it. I think you'd be attached to the characters. I think you'd
Mm,
appreciate a lot of things done really well, but there might be certain scenes which just completely tear
I'm
you up.
sure.
So.
Yeah. I want for you and Tori to love it. There's so much. Yeah. That's the tough thing. Maybe I'll try it at some point. You never know.
Is she talking about Empire?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Um, Kristoff has Blade vibes. Yeah. Have you read Elric?
No. Have
Either.
you?
Mm-mm. I know Britton mentioned Fafhrd and the Grey Mouncer earlier,
Oh yeah.
which I hated. I got in big trouble with some of the like classic fantasy fans on a couple discords because I really didn't like it, and they were like, "This is amazing stuff. What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "It's not great." If they're the original bromance in fantasy, thank goodness other authors wrote something else because oof.
I remember watching one of your rant about this. It's striking memories now. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's not a Tory series. Don't worry, Derry. I'm not touching Nevernight. There's no way. Are there some like really popular series or just series that are I just have no interest in this or it's just not a series you think you'll like?
Oh man, honestly, like continuing Sanderson is kind of how I
Mm.
feel that way.
You really had a tough time with Wind and Truth, I remember.
Yeah, it killed it. Killed a lot
Yeah.
of Sanderson for me. So now I don't even know. Like I'm starting to get like Instagram ads that there's like new Sanderson books. I'm like I have not been keeping up with Sanderson whatsoever. I have no idea what any of this is. Like I'm just not
Yeah.
interested in continuing with it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Were you into Stormlight? I don't recall.
Yeah, so I've read the first four. I have not read Wind and Truth and I probably won't.
You think you're going to?
I don't think I'm going to. I don't have any interest. Rhythm, in fairness to Wind and Truth, it's not the only reason. I really disliked Rhythm of War a lot. Um, and that one kind of killed the series for me. And then Wind and Truth came out, and I was just like, I don't know, thanks.
Yeah. because it's such a big commitment too, right? Like if it was a short
is.
book, you'd be like, no big deal, but it just drags.
Well, and you and I are both not averse, clearly, to big chunker books. Like you
Yeah, yeah.
just read a 100-hour set of audiobooks. So like, but the thing is, and I know you and I have the same opinion too on Shogun, that
Yeah.
we both really enjoyed Shogun. That's a book where like all of the 1,200 pages were worth it.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing book that deserved the entire length that it had.
Mm.
Stormlight, I do feel like, especially as we get further into the series, it's hard to justify a book that long. And I feel like a lot of books that are 1,000 pages or more shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know.
the thing is like I was thinking about this. I'm like, I wrote this really long book, and like I've been critical of like Sanderson writing long books, but I'm
Right.
like, hold on a second. I wrote one long. He wrote 5, and that's
Yeah.
like half the series. And that's, yeah, like I agree. There's a lot there that doesn't need to be there.
Right.
Honestly, if he just tightened up the prose, it would take off like 200, 300 pages. Just
100%.
by itself. So I don't know. I have a lot of qualms with Sanderson right now. So there's
That's
my
fair. Yeah, I do. And it's funny because a lot of my favorite books of his, I really liked Words of Radiance. That was my favorite book in the archive. I still have a very fond nostalgia for Mistborn, because that was one of my gateway series. But my favorite Sanderson books, very few people talk about. I love The Emperor's Soul, which does get talked about sometimes, but I love that one. And then my favorite book of his is Legion, The Many Lives of Stephen Leeds, which isn't Cosmere at all.
Yeah.
And almost even Sanderson fans that I talk to often haven't even heard of that. So I'm like, I mean, I still enjoy. Yeah, exactly, Don. I do feel like a lot of authors use longer books as an excuse to just cram in as much as possible, and that doesn't usually serve the story.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I sometimes think about this with Hob as well, because like her books are very long as well, and I think you will not be able to convince me that everything that's there needs to be there. Like it just doesn't. But then like, what does need to be there mean? Because in Hobb's case, even though it doesn't need to be there, it's still serving a purpose.
You're still invested in it. Yeah.
You're invested in it somehow. And I will never ever deem to like criticize the Queen Hob, but like definitely there are points where the writing could be tightened up a little bit. Sure. But like the thing is, I don't know what that would take away either, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what?
I mean, there isn't a perfect author anywhere. There are authors who are phenomenally talented at what they do in different areas. But we all, like you said earlier, we're all like, every book we write teaches us something and hopefully leads us to grow as an author in our craft. And is there something like between, if you're going from Book of Astea into this new one, what are some of the things that you feel like you took away from the first experience that you are either doing differently this time around, or things that you want to build on that you really enjoyed the first time around?
I could not even I could not even summarize that in
it's a lot.
there's just so much. I feel like like, this is my debut book. It's it's, I don't know, like now I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I make that? Why did I do this like weird timeline thing where we have these timeline jumps and it gets confusing for readers? And like the writing was also just not as good as it could have been. There's so much stuff, and I'm not doing a good job of selling my book here, by the way. But
I feel like authors that are really good at selling their own book are very suspicious.
100%. Yeah, I'm like,
I'm very suspicious of that.
But yeah, no, I think really just trying to just, I guess, embody what the experience of reading the book would be like a little bit better than I think I did with this one. This felt more like I was just telling the story inside me, but now I'm like thinking of it a lot more from a reader's perspective, just a lot of craft stuff, sentence level stuff, trying to like think of like what the reader knows at this point in the story. I mean,
Mm.
all that stuff I was thinking back then too, but it's like being more cognizant of it now. And yeah, I don't know, like you're probably similar to me where like you look back on what you've written in the past and you're like, I could do better now. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I feel that way. Like I'm really proud of my new work.
You
And
should
now
be.
it's like whenever Chris was and Usman were saying nice things about STI, and I was like, oh man, I wish you guys had read my new book though.
Well, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you said sometime this year is what you're planning, right? Hopefully.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I don't
And
think I
it
did a
is.
good job answering your question, so I'm sorry. I just
No. That's totally, that's a big question. I feel like, and I feel like it's such a overwhelming experience to write a book anyways, and then to try to reflect on it as you're writing another book and you're also reading. Like there's a lot of, there's a lot that changes between each book we write. And I think you would agree with this, even between writing. I mean, because did you write the first two kind of at the same time, or were they okay?
yeah,
So
I wrote the whole thing and then
okay,
yeah.
then you split it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it'll probably be more apparent as you're going from that duology now to this new one, looking back on what the differences were and how you feel you've grown as an author, because every book teaches you something different.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just trying to work with different styles, right? Like whatever third person narrative that I had here with multiple POVs to a
Yeah.
framing narrative with a single
Yeah.
character, right? It's very, very different.
Very different.
And I feel like there are authorial tricks which you do when you have multiple POVs, like when you awkwardly want to transition, you just
Go to somebody else.
go to a different POV, right? And stuff
Yep.
like that. And it's like, oh, I can't do that anymore. And it's like, that's actually really challenging. And like,
It is.
you have to like relearn how to write a little bit. And like, this is maybe getting too much into the nitty gritty, but it's
No, not at all.
yeah. And then like passage of time, right? Like when you have multiple POVs, you pass time by switching POVs and you're like, okay, this guy is doing, this is what this guy's doing. Now we go back to that guy. And like, obviously time has passed, but it's like when you have a single POV framing narrative, all of a sudden now you don't have that, right? It's like one page leads directly into the next. And like, this is like the kind of thing where I was literally reading books, single person POV books, and like studying how other authors are doing it. And I'm like,
smart.
like it's just like small things like that, which really kind of catch you off guard.
Yeah. It's so different. And I think it's cool because in the writing journey, you have stepping stones to growth. And I think what I found, and I think for you probably too, is writing Book of Astea, you had to write that before you could write something like this. And so while Book of Astea also has its own thing, it also opportunity for what was coming next. And I think that's such a valuable part of the journey to reflect on, is just, what did this teach me? And like, I think now going back from Cold Silver, which is same thing, where it's a first person present tense, and I'm stuck there, which, like you said, is really challenging when you've had all of the tricks that come with third person. And now going back into third person with Bruhai, I'm noticing that the way that I'm approaching the storytelling is a little different, because I've learned something now from Hunter and her POV, and how to, what pieces of that can I use in third person storytelling to make it even more intimate and, cohesive.
Yeah, that's such a good way of putting it. Because like now, I think if I go back and read Riven Earth after like writing 300,000 pages of a single POV, I think I kind of would have that feeling of like, this is more fragmented than it should have been. Like I should have been more careful with how I was doing POV transitions and like laying out the storylines for each character. And it's like you said, it's all just learning experiences. And I hope readers enjoy it regardless. But like as an author, you hope that your next book is always your best book.
Always better. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really valuable for us to be able to objectively look at where our strengths and weaknesses are as authors, because that's what helps us write a better next book. And not being afraid of, here's what I would do different if I were going back, or here's what I notice, and how would I challenge myself differently. I think about that with every book. How am I challenging myself with this writing project? And Cold Silver was I always said I will never write a first person book. And here we are. So every book is going to provide its own unique challenge.
For what it's worth, like I read The Bloodstones, I thought it was excellent, and I got through 30% of Cold Silver, and I didn't DNF it. I just have been like in writing mode, so it's been hard to like do a
That
physical
is completely
read.
fair.
Yeah. So like I'm 100% gonna get back to it, but I gotta say it was really damn good. Like I was
Thank you.
I was like, this is so well written. It feels so intentional. Like there's so much character voice and personality to everything, and it just feels like it's like one of those situations where you're in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, and you're like, I'm comfortable. I'm not worried. This is going to be a great book. I just gotta go along for the journey. So,
well, and I think that kind of goes back to our conversation earlier about characters, where I always said that I wouldn't write a first person because I didn't feel like I'd found the right character yet. And when I discovered Hunter, it was the first time I'd ever allowed myself to think about what would the world sound like from her voice specifically.
Yeah.
So I do think it comes down to having the right character to tell the story and being able to really intimately sink into their POV and be able to see the world through their eyes in a completely different way than you do in third person.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. It's fun. It is kind of fun because you do like look at the environment of the world and the other characters in a completely different way.
Yeah, and you embody that voice really, really well. So.
Thank you. I'm very excited to read your new one because I love when authors kind of shift gears and try something different, because I think too often authors can get kind of stuck in the rut of writing the same thing over and over. So yeah. I love that you're already like, what can I try next? That's awesome. Derry wanted to know, did you write it knowing you were going to split it into more than one title?
Yeah, Derry, I think you might have
missed the beginning.
I think she was with Jimmy is what it was.
Yeah, she was cheating with us, on us with Jimmy over there.
No, so Derry, what I was telling Tori at the beginning is I am like the worst, the ultimate pantser. And really all I did was I just went and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. I wasn't thinking of writing a book. I just wanted to write a story. So I wrote a story. And then at the end of it, I was like, I've got like 300,000 pages of words of like story here. And then I realized after I looked at the story, I was like, there are kind of two arcs to this. And that's where I felt like, okay, if I just do some editing, move some things around, splicing, whatever, cleaning things up, then I can split this up. And if I split it up, then I'll get 2 cover arts instead of 1. So that's what I decided to do.
More art. Why did you split your book? I wanted more art.
That's why that's why the novella showed up as well. Like
that's fair. That's like, so fair.
With novellas, the art to writing ratio is really good. So it's like you don't have to write for much to get new art. So.
That's true. That is something I have really loved about Fate of Thieves is I'm like, I only had to write like 35,000 words and I'm getting a new cover.
Yay.
Great. Because how long is Sojourn?
About 55,000 words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Leah would like to know, can we buy your books directly from you?
Yeah, I don't actually have a store, to be honest. I just never thought anyone would want to. It's just kind of funny because Tori, I remember you asking the same question, and I ended up shipping. I shipped them to you, right?
You did, yeah.
So if you really want, I can ship them to you, but they're on Amazon. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I should be a better self-pub author, to be honest.
No, it's so it's a whole, like we wear so many hats and it's so many things to figure out that I zero judgment for any authors who are like, nope, I haven't, because the website by itself is almost a completely different beast from having a cart and shopping software.
Yeah, it's like a whole other thing.
Whole different thing.
There have been people who have messaged me on like Twitter and they want a signed copy, and like I'll do that for them, but I don't. But if someone's doing that and they're asking me for like a signed copy, I don't want to make a profit on it. I feel bad. I'm like, I just
you're such an indie author.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, look, like I'll like pay me for like the shipping costs and like that's it. Like that's good. And you'll get the book and like I'm just so honored that you
for anybody who wants to buy Zammar's book, if you stand your ground, speaking from personal experience, you can force him to let you pay him for his books.
You're too kind.
No, it's you deserve to be paid for the work that you put in, and that's, as an indie author, really hard to get to that. This is why I love doing my channel, because I can spend a lot of time pitching everybody else's books. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Derry's been called out. More art, great motivation. So here's the thing, Britton, and this is something, Zammar, I don't know if you have things like this too. For people that are really wanting a very specific, very beat by beat plot, I'm not the author for you.
Yeah.
I have a plot, it's in there, but it's not the focal point.
Yeah.
And I know that there are a lot of fantasy author readers who really like, writing from a plot point of view.
Yeah, I think there's multiple perspectives to it. It's like you can have something that's very character centric, while still having like quite a bit of plot, but maybe you just present it a bit differently. Where a lot of plots, it's like right from the get go, you know that this is the mission, this is what we're gonna do, right? And for a lot of people, they want that kind of lodestar, and then as a writer, you can put like a twist in. It's like, oh, that's what you thought the mission was, but actually it's gonna be something else, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or you can have something like I go back to like Hob, where you're reading the book and you're like, I have no idea what the plot is. Like there is a plot to the overall story, but like in any given book, it's like completely, it feels
it's more subtle,
but it's like much more subtle.
Yeah.
The book's kind of just like picking you up, like taking your hand, like, let's just spend some time together. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh, all these things happened. And then, yeah.
Well, there you go, Zammar. Leah has picked up your books from Amazon.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's very kind.
If I do Amazon, that's the thing, is if there are a lot of authors where that is, that's the place that they can sell their books. And especially for people, and Zammar, I know you probably have to deal with the frustration of this way more than I do, but the shipping of international shipping anywhere is so frustratingly expensive. So
especially from Canada. I don't know if the States is bad, but
States isn't as bad. Canada's pretty bad. Yeah. I hate that for you guys, because it should not be that way, but it is.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know Esme, right? Of course you know. Yeah. So like I've wanted to send my books to her forever, because I'm like, Esme's awesome. Like she's my friend. Like I want to send her my books. And like, oh, it's just so expensive to ship them.
Yeah.
Not every time.
Well, and even when it's not between the US and Canada and you're trying to send somewhere like the Netherlands, I mean, that's got to be even crazier.
Yeah. But I will do it someday.
Yeah. Britain does not like interquel novellas between fantasy books. How do you feel about novellas between fantasy books, Zammar?
I guess it's fine. Like I don't think I have particularly strong feelings. I haven't read that many, to be honest.
Sure.
I guess Sanderson had a couple.
Edge Dancer and
yeah. I know like Sun Eater is kind of famous for this as well, and Ryan Cahill as well, right? Those are the ones I'm thinking of, which are like a couple of series I haven't actually read. So
well, and I think it's become more of a thing somewhat recently. I don't feel like that was ever a thing before. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, those of you in the chat who've read more classic stuff than I have, but I think that's a fairly new thing. I think the way that I look at it is I don't like novellas that you have to read within the series to get the full story. I like novellas that add to the depth, instead of like, oh, if you don't read this, it's more like, I want to know more about this aspect of the story, but the main story arc isn't going to change whether you read the novella or not.
But is there any element of like, okay, why'd you write this novella? I just want you to finish the main series. I'm not interested in this side quest, Yeah.
And that's fair. Like, and that's what I really tried to, I wasn't planning on writing novellas for Bruhai until last July. and then I was like, I'm writing a novella now. Pantsers.
Yeah. No, but Derry's got a point though. The Willful Princess and Piebald Prince, really,
Yeah.
really good novella. So
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that.
yeah, no, it's a wonderful read.
Thank you, Angie. I do feel like Bloodstones has more of a overt plot line than Cold Silver does. Cold Silver, I feel like, was written in a way to be a little bit more episodic. And so each chapter is kind of a little thing. And there is like an overarching plot, but it's definitely quieter, I think. Yeah. So we've been talking for 2 hours, and this happens every time. And I know I say it in every Motley Crew chat. We could talk for another 2 hours.
Yeah, this has been fun.
But I want to, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your time with us this evening. And I want to know what books you are really excited to read in 2026, and what is a book that everybody should put on their TBR besides yours right now?
Well, I'll start by saying it's been an absolute pleasure, and like it's such an honor. And yeah, I mean, I've seen so many of your videos, chatted with you on Discord, but it's,
Yeah.
it's just
it's so much more fun to talk in person.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, books I'm planning to read this year. Do you know? So I'm reading Dragonborn Chair right now, and I'm going to read this year. I know it's one of your favorites, LPQ.
Yes.
Spice Quartet. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah, definitely going to read that. And I was hoping that you were going to start The Expanse soon, because I also wanted to jump into that one.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So hopefully I'll read that one too.
Okay.
And The Mask of Mirrors. Have you read that?
Oh yeah, M.A. Carrick. That's Marie Brennan, and I'm trying to remember who else.
I don't know the other author, but I was a huge fan of Lady Trent.
I need to read those.
Oh my god, they're so lovely. You like Pride and Prejudice, and
oh yeah, huge Jane Austen fan.
Jane Austen, right? Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's different. It's quite different, but
sure.
Like I think you'll really enjoy those books.
I have the first book up on my shelf, and I think it's one. Yeah, it's one of my priority reads for this year. So very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think about it. But yeah, so I'm excited for that series. And as for what everyone else should read, so I've already talked about Temeraire. Can I throw out an underrated indie gem?
Please.
So this is from my friend David. David List.
Yeah.
Violence and Vengeance. Oh, it's so good. It's long. It's long, but there's an audiobook which is fantastic, and the book itself is really damn good. It's like an indie hidden gem. So I highly recommend that one to everyone.
It was really fun. I remember I was on a panel with him for the SFF Addicts TBR con. And yeah, he had some really interesting conversation about a specific topic of within all of our books. It was really cool. And I think I'm trying to remember what number on your top 10 that one was, like 7.
Yeah, it was up there. It was 7, yeah, it was there.
Yeah. That one's got a cool cover too.
It does, yeah, and I just think it's really well done. It's grimdark.
Sure.
You can definitely tell there's like Abercrombie inspiration, but he's got his own voice. It's a very distinct voice.
Cool.
And I don't think it'll be as disappointing for you as Abercrombie.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I recommend that for sure.
Awesome.
And of course, Tori's books. So
yeah. Chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. You know what, Derry, you were here for plenty of the chat, and we loved having you. LPQ excites me, especially. I'm going to need all of your thoughts, because LPQ, if you love family drama, multi-generation, unique fantasy series, you're going to absolutely love, and amazing writing, you're going to absolutely love it. That was one of the few series, and I have a very short list of series that I've read where I was like, you can tell you're not just reading a story anymore. You're reading a master class in storytelling.
Mhm.
It's so good. So I hope you love it.
I'm super hyped. I'll keep you up to date when I
For
get
sure.
started. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Mask of Mirrors is Angela from Literature Science Alliance's favorite book. That's cool.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. That's good to know.
That one's got a little bit more of like a heist kind of like underground feel to it too, I think, from what I've heard, which is super cool.
I'm going in blind, so we'll see.
Oh, sorry, I didn't say anything.
Oh, that's fine.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And once again, whether you're in the chat or watching the replay, down in the description box below, we have a link to Zammar's website, and you can check out his books on Amazon. And yeah, Zammar, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening.
Thank you, Tori, and chat. It's been a pleasure.
Chat, you were awesome. Yep, Zach, sorry. we're signing off, but I'm so glad you showed up. Thank you for being here. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.